Hello, I'm Dr. Viviano, and as promised, I wanted to go through a demonstration here. With this demonstration, I'll use the mathematics teaching standards for the software that we're using. I wish that I could be presenting this in person or on Zoom, but maybe someday we'll get that opportunity. Okay, but anyway, this is the first sheet of the evaluation software, and this is the summary rating form. Okay, this is where everything kind of comes together and that's the final sheet, the final printout, if you will, that we keep for records and so forth. But down the left side, okay, happens to be the standards, okay, for this mathematics course. Okay, standards 1 through 10, 9, I'm sorry. So it starts with mathematics learning for all students, knowledge of math, aware of the whole student. So as you can see, this being very specific to math, okay, how you teach the math, okay, knowledge for all the students, and then it deals with student knowledge as well. Okay, this comes from InTask, of course. We're all required to do this. Knowledge of pedagogy, the learning environment, student evaluation, and those things. So a few things that are specific to math. Okay, that's what makes this software a little special. Process, I should say, and then kind of generic things for teaching, if you will. Okay. Across the top, you have levels. Okay, you have emerging, basic, proficient, and accomplished, and the levels are kind of self-populated in these boxes right here. So if I try to populate something in there, it won't let me. Okay, so it's self-populated there. Okay, and at the bottom, this is the only time we do any writing. Okay, where you could provide some comments down here, some recommendations for improvement. Okay, and then where you and the teacher might sign off on this document. Okay, so we'll keep coming back to the sheet in a second as you see how it self populates. Okay, then we go to the scoring sheet. Okay, this is the brains of the operation right here. Okay, so each of the standards has 8 possible elements. Okay, and each element is worth 8 points. So what will happen is that this will self-populate as well. So if this became a 6 out of 8, then this would automatically self-populate to 75%. Okay, so it's the sum of C3 divided by B3, or 7 divided by 8, or 6 divided by 8, whatever we happen to use. And it tallies it on the bottom here, okay? And the total possible score is 72. And then, of course, the points that the teacher obtained is going to be here, okay? That's the sum of all those. And then, of course, at the end here is going to be the final percentage. Now, it's this guy right here, that total percentage over here, that's what ends up going back, to the home page over here, the final tab sheet. Okay, and we'll see how that works kind of in a second. So this is the workhorse sheet. This does it all, the possible points divides into the earned points and so forth. Okay, so score sheet 1. Okay, so this takes care of the standard 1 mathematics learning for all students. Okay, and each one of these is worth a point. There's 8 of them. Okay, 8 through H. Okay, and teachers are aware of issues of diversity and proactively seek to promote academic and social equity, maintaining high expectations for all learners. Okay, so this is where the mathematics teacher knows their students and knows how to teach each and every individual student, differentiated instruction, if you will. Okay. Now, what you simply do here is, if the teacher satisfies these particular elements, you simply click in the box, and you can see the ones tally there. Okay. So you don't have to write any numbers in, any letters, or don't write true or false. Just simply click that box, the teacher as well as yourself, and so forth. And you can see at the bottom it tabulates, and I'll go one more for this teacher. So there's a 7 here at the bottom of this sheet. So if I go back to table 1, the workhorse, you see that there's a 7 out of 8 for an 88% for that individual element, or the individual standard, I'm sorry. And they tally it down here and so forth. Okay, and so far, the teachers only reached 10% of the total the total goal, right? Because there's only one standard that was done. And that information is transferred over here. Okay. So in this particular standard right here, the teacher reached a proficient score, which is right here. Okay. Now, if I were to bump that up and give the teacher an 8 out of 8, okay, and we go back, now the teacher hasn't accomplished, okay, and back here, that's 100%. Okay. So you begin to see how the tables begin to talk to each other, which simply just a click in the box is how that works. Okay. And back to score sheet one then, and what I'll do is eradicate these, okay, just to get everything back to square one here. Okay. And you can change these, with a heartbeat. And then you can, right at the bottom here, you can very conveniently click on evidence and samples. Okay, so these are some of the things that might help the teacher satisfy, that first standard. Okay, data that shows why one gender is significantly outperforming the other gender. That's an example of what the teacher might have. Okay, um, geometry, samples of uses computers with voice recognition or speech recognition for certain students. Okay, teacher could use a system of linear equations to model the cost of two phone plans or something like that. So these are samples and lesson plans that the teacher can indeed show you or themselves that they have met that. And you can add onto this at the bottom down here. Or you could take some of these away. This is your prerogative. What's nice about this is the district and school specific, so we could tailor this to your particular school's needs. And then you simply return to that page. So you can kind of toggle, if you will, between the two pages, okay, so that you can keep referencing those things. The same thing kind of happens with score sheet 2. Okay, this is knowledge of math. Score sheet 3, awareness of the whole student. Okay, so these are examples here of an evidence that the teacher knows their students, okay, their strengths, their interests, their ways of learning, okay. Lesson plans that show differentiated instruction, okay, teacher developed questionnaires, okay, all this type of stuff. Familial information, community information, all those things that makes the teacher aware of the whole student and how that student learns and so forth, okay. So that's really it in a nutshell. And when you get to the end, hopefully you have all of these filled out. And like I say, if it's a veteran teacher, hopefully they're over here somewhere. Okay, and that final tally will end up, over there and so forth. So I hope you have some questions. Okay, my contact information is in the pamphlet or the pamphlets that I sent you, the books on each individual subject. I believe I sent you math, science, English, language arts, and career and technical education. Yet to come, of course, is the other subjects, social studies, and so forth, phys ed and things like that. So very, very subject specific, as well as being general as far as pedagogy is concerned. Okay, thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.